Give me 15 minutes, I'm going to give you at least 15 years of your life back. It's a bold promise, but I'm going to keep it because here's the thing. I've spent over a decade building agencies. If you internalize it and apply what I'm about to tell you, you can probably skip a decade of frustration. So let's get into it. Here's the first trap that I think most people fall into. Most entrepreneurs believe that the thing that's actually missing is I had more time, I would grow faster, if I would scale more, I'd be able to fix my business. I just don't have enough hours in the day. This thing is not true. The thing that you're missing is actually clarity of what to do next. Signal to noise ratio. I don't know if this is something you've heard before, but Steve Jobs used to talk about this all the time. He said, there's a whole bunch of stuff you got to do in a day. And signal is the thing that is going to drive you forward and help you get to the goals that you want to get to. And if you have an option of doing 30 different things in one day, picking the top 2 or 3 things to actually get the results and move the business forward on that day. And this is why time isn't your weakness. It's about the direction of it. And you need time to self-reflect. People think that self-reflection is a waste of time. It's how we decide what actually matters. So you have to figure out what are those things that are going to help me drive forward, and then time really becomes relevant. Otherwise, you waste months, years, etc., chasing the wrong thing, and you need to chase the right thing. The second trap is that for a long time, I actually tried to chase freedom rather than building the machine that gives you freedom. So what does this actually mean? You got to build the systems that remove the chaos. And these are really boring things. Delivery systems, client acquisition systems, proper tracking, dashboards, hiring pipelines. And the systems are actually what are going to set you free. And look, there's sort of a irony to all of this. In a weird way, the thing that gives you freedom is doing the opposite of what makes you feel free. But when these things click together, all of a sudden the machine starts running, and that's what drives the actual freedom for you. So the boring stuff is what in the long term sets you free, and you gotta focus in on the boring stuff for a season. All right, the next one is skill beats strategy. Here's the thing, skills compound, strategies expire. It's not that strategy doesn't matter because everybody wants the right strategy, but you have to understand that the right strategy today is going to expire 3 months from now, 6 months from now, but the skills you keep with you. Platforms change, algorithms change, markets move. The underlying thing that determines how effective that strategy is your skill. Now look, there's a ton of skills that agency owners need to know. You need to know how to hire people, hold people accountable, how to do sales, marketing, finance. There's a million things. But in my opinion, here are where you truly need to build your skills in order to drive forward, and so that you can use any one of the strategies that are going to be valid not only just today, but in the future, and be able to get the maximum juice out of that piece of strategy fruit. Number one, sales. So it's really the ability to turn a conversation into revenue. It's persuasion. This alone is going to save you years of struggle. Why? Because if you have a strategy to generate leads, you've got to close them at a high level. Number two is marketing. So that's the ability to actually generate attention and convert it through the sales process, right? But I look at marketing a little bit differently. We have to be able to communicate our value to our target customer. If we can't do that, we're never going to be relevant. So this is the skill that you need to learn, and it's a skill that changes over time. So you need to build a pretty robust base learning how to do marketing. It's an ongoing, evolving thing. Number three is operations. And this is the ability to build systems that actually replace you. And this is where freedom comes from. People talk about, I just don't want to be chained to my desk. I want my team to be able to deliver without me there. Operations is one half of that equation. Systems generate freedom as an outcome. What is the other half? It's number four. It's leadership. And this is the ability to hire the right people, inspire them, and then delegate to them. And this is where the operations other half comes from, right? Because what are you delegating to them? The systems that you built with these operational skills that you have. So work on these 4 skills and master them. That way you become evergreen. You yourself, no one's going to be able to hold you back because you can just pivot from thing to thing and each thing will work for you. All right, next one. You have to pick one vehicle and commit for a reasonable amount of time. One of the biggest time killers that I see over and over again is people business hopping. So I see entrepreneurs start an agency, then switch to e-com. And it's because you just never stayed in one thing long enough. And the thing is that there's a compounding return to these things. So the truth is that if you focus on one thing for long enough, meaning 6 months to a year minimum, you don't get the lessons. And the lessons, every time you fail, these micro failures, you fix them and you fix them and you fix them and you fix them, and then boom, all of a sudden it works. So you got to pick that one model to figure out if this is going to work, and then just iterate progression, right, of the same thing. I pivoted a ton myself and I lost years pivoting years and years and years. So please don't make the mistakes that I made. The next one is really about removing the bottleneck. And here's the problem for most agencies and most businesses, you are the actual bottleneck. And I can tell you that I was always the bottleneck. And I was the bottleneck in different functions within the business at different times. So there was a time where I was the bottleneck during sales or delivery, just firefighting in general, or even something as dumb as admin. I bottlenecked admin. I know I'm guilty of it. And this is why people feel stuck. I got to do this because if I don't do this, I can't unlock people from doing the things that they're supposed to do. And this is why your team around you feel stuck as well, by the way. This weirdly goes back to systems. If you build the systems and you delegate properly and you hire the right people, you no longer become the bottleneck. So number one skill that I really learned is who I could hire, who I could trust, and then really going about building the systems. So basically it's an investment in the future where the more time you buy, the more time you have to actually systemize, and it creates this positive upward spiral, this positive feedback loop. So if you don't start systemizing today, you're going to have to basically pay the tax of doing these things until you do it anyway. And by the way, this comes from me full well understanding that I've made this exact same mistakes. So next lesson, try to build an asset, not a job. And I know this sounds obvious. When I deal with clients time and time again, people have built jobs and people kind of accidentally do it. They basically build this job that they can't escape, and they leave a job where they had a boss only to become their own boss. And then their clients end up becoming their boss and even their people to some degree. This is what I tell everybody all the time. Always try to build your business in a way that you can sell it. Not because you want to sell it, but because it's actually the correct way of building a business. It forces you to think in a way where, what are the criteria of what a buyer actually wants? Well, I'll tell you right now, as the primary owner, to not be necessary. This is the most important thing. If you need to go clean up the finances, build the infrastructure, remove yourself from delivery, create SOPs, hire correctly, track metrics, and document processes, now's the time. Build your business in a way where you are not needed. Your job from today on is to replace yourself and to become not needed. Because remember, all these behaviors that you had around trying to keep your job and being necessary are actually the thing that lead to failure as an entrepreneur. Your job is to be useless, and you're useless because you've built everything so that everybody else could do it and you are not needed. That is the way to do it. The last one I'm going to leave you with today is that your environment determines your level. This is not some BS thing. It's really about understanding how to manage your own energy and your own focus. And this is the most essential part that most entrepreneurs underestimate. Your environment isn't neutral. How you set up your office, how you actually do the work, when your meetings are structured. These are things that you have full control of that can create an optimal environment for you to get the right work done. A couple of ways to do this is, look, if you start making enough money, hire a chef, hire a cleaner. Stop doing the tasks that drain you. Now, if you love mowing your lawn, don't outsource that, because if it gives you time to reflect and think, keep mowing your lawn. I'm not here to tell you that you can pay less to actually get it done. No, it's about energy. If that's enjoyable to you and you doing those things, go do them. But all the things that you don't enjoy doing them, you got to get rid of them, because you got to become this more focused individual that does less things, but does the things that you do less of way, way better. And over time, your brain's going to normalize it and just cut out this noise of the things that you don't like doing. I now can devote more energy to the things directly in front of me that I know I'm good at. These are all the things that I wish somebody had told me before. So remember the key takeaway: don't chase freedom, build the machine that creates it. Master sales, marketing, operations, and leadership, and only pick one vehicle and ride it into the sunset. If you want the tactical version of all these frameworks in actual drawings, etc., there's going to be a link in the description below of this training that I have of how to make an agency self-running. It's got 5 hours worth of free training in there. Go ahead and click on it, and I'll see you on the next one.